Welcome to the first in the series of Hinduism Q&A, where I'm going to try to answer many of the questions that people ask me about our religion. These videos will aim to be 5 minutes or less each, and the purpose isn't to give you lengthy lectures, but to answer the type of questions children ask their parents, or questions you may wonder about the answer to yourself. The questions I address in each video won't be in any specific order, but they'll hopefully get you thinking and more importantly interested in finding more about our dharma. Let's address the question for this video, which is, why do Hindus worship so many gods? Well, the answer to this is far more simple than you may imagine, and that is that we don't worship many gods. Now, this may sound counterintuitive to what you see in everyday life and possibly practice at home, but ultimately Hinduism has one god. This is clearly defined in our scriptures by a section of the Vedas called the Purusha Suktam. Purusha is the reference given to the omnipresent and omniscient cosmic being who is in essence an infinite energy. The scriptures are the ultimate source of truth because they were written by our ancient rishis who meditated on the cosmos and received the knowledge of the divine from there. The first shloka in the Purusha Suktam says, Sahasra Shirsha Purushaha Sahasraksha Sahasrapad Sabhumin Vishvatro Drutva Atyatishta Dashangulam. What this means is that Purusha has 1,000 heads, 1,000 eyes, and 1,000 feet. We must remember that everything in the scriptures is symbolic and we mustn't take it literally. In ancient times, 1,000 would have been a huge number, so it's referencing infinite rather than a literal 1,000. It then goes on to say, he envelopes the world from all sides and extends beyond by 10 fingers. Again, here we see infinite. If you imagine a universe and extend it by 10 fingers, then you now have a newer, bigger definition of the universe in your mind. And we can keep adding 10 fingers and growing that definition. So what this is saying is whatever you can imagine, it's 10 fingers bigger than that, i.e. it's beyond our comprehension. We also see evidence of this in the Bhagavad Gita when Arjuna asks Krishna to show his universal form. Krishna shows his Sahasrara or 1,000 form. Behold now, Arjuna, the entire universe with everything moving and non-moving assembled together in my universal form. Whatever else you also wish to see is in this universal form. In that form, Arjuna saw unlimited faces and eyes decorated with many divine ornaments and wielding many kinds of divine weapons. He wore many garlands on his body and was anointed with many sweet-smelling heavenly fragrances. He showed himself as the all-enveloping, unlimited, wonderful, shining Lord whose face is everywhere. Now we have seen that there is one God, we still have to answer the question of why so many in everyday life. Well, each of those gods originated from the Purusha, and that means each of them is a small subset of energy of the infinite. Now let's take an analogy. If you have broken bones, you use X-rays because it can go through muscle and photograph the bones. If you want to heat something, you can use microwaves. If you want to see in the dark, use light. But ultimately, these are all isolated forms of a larger energy called the electromagnetic spectrum. In the same way, if you need luck or wealth, you worship the divine energy of Lakshmi. If you need obstacles removed, you worship the divine energy of Ganesh. And if you need courage, you worship a more fierce and protective energy like Hanuman. Ultimately, these are all vibrations that come from the larger cosmic being called Purusha. This is also documented in the same scripture. Chandrama manaso jata chaksho suryo ajayata mukhadindrascha agnischa pranad vayur ajayata. The moon was born from his mind and the sun was born from his eyes. Indra, the king of the demigods, and Agni, the god of fire, were born from his mouth, and Vayu, the wind god, was born from his breath. So this clarifies that the Purusha is the ultimate infinite god. The individual deities represent functional parts of this, so it's up to us, next time we worship, to open our minds and try to comprehend the infinite Lord. In the next session, we will look at the question of idol worship and bust some of the negative myths surrounding that.